about hair removal. The reason I want to talk about hair removal is because in my group, we're having a great conversation with, yes you do honey, you know me, I always carry my do-rags, about hair removal. And I think, you know, what happens is that when we decide what type of hair removal we want to offer, whether it's sugaring, threading, waxing, laser hair removal, IPL, laser, we get into this mode where we only focus on the service we offer. We don't want to expand our mind and look at hair removal in general. So tonight we're going to talk about hair removal 101, because the problem is that if you wax or if you sugar or if you do only one type of modality and you don't know about hair removal in general, are you really doing your clients a disservice? So one of the conversations we had in there with Genevieve, she's great. She's been with Say Brazil Brands for a long time. And she was talking about a client that came in and had an unreasonable expectation of hair removal. He's not been waxing for a year. He's really only been waxing since September. And he's upset that his hair is not changing, or he's not getting a response from waxing. It's not growing in slower. It's not growing in thinner. The reason I want to talk about this is because in going back and forth and having the conversation, I kept really reiterating that it's an unreasonable expectation for our clients to see a change in less than a year, especially if they've not been consistent or they have never had any type of hair removal that was removing from the root. So that's really, really the key. Shavers, as we know, are instant gratification people, because the hair is there, they cut it off. And they can do it as many times as they want. I will never forget a client who shaved her underarms every day and then came in to me and was like, I'd love to make an appointment. And I said, you can't be my client because you shave every day. Every day you walk around at some point in the day with no hair. In order for me to effectively remove the hair, I need it to grow. I need something to grab onto. So how long can you typically go without shaving? And she was like, maybe 2 days max. You can't be my client. You know, and heritage has a lot to do with it, but you have to remember, people who don't understand hair removal will not understand what you're speaking about, which is why I say waxing is always an educational thing too. So when you don't understand hair removal, and you need to understand every type of hair removal if you are removing hair. So even if you only wax, you should know what sugar is about. Even if you only wax, you should know what laser is about. Even if you only wax, you should know what threading is about. Even if you only wax, you should know what, IPL and all that other stuff is too, along with laser. You should know what those modalities are about, because guess what? Your clients do. So if your clients know different types of hair removal and they come to you and you only do one type, you should still be able to have a conversation about different types of hair removal. A client that came up to me, thank you, at the Chicago show, she's been waxing her face for years, her chin specifically all the way to the neck. And we know most women who wax for years in that area, typically it's hormonal based, that their hair is very thick, very coarse. We know that. Thank you. So I even told her, I said, how often are you waxing yourself? She's an esthetician. She said about every week. And I said, have you not seen a change in your hair in the last few years by waxing every week? She said, no. I said, here's the thing. The one thing I know about with waxing, if you've been waxing for years and your hair has never changed, the texture or coarseness has never changed, the amount of hair that comes in, the growth time, and the thickness of it has not changed over years, it's time for you to move to a different modality. You have two options. Either you go, oh, that was Philly. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Tanya. That's right. It was Philly. Thank you so much. Absolutely. That was Philly. And I said you have two options when you start looking at your face. Either you're going to go laser or you're going to go sugar. Lasering, as you know, laser is only going to give you an 80% response, which means 80% of your hair is going to respond, 20% is not. Okay. The other thing about laser as well is that you do have to grow it out. And then right before you go in, you're going to shave that area. The problem with that, especially with our face, especially if you shave, you tend to hyperpigment, you are going to pigment even more, not only from the heat from the laser, but the fact that you're shaving. So you have to really kind of understand what happens with laser. If you're going to sugar, sugar will give you that response, but you have to find someone who sugars really well. Sugaring is something that if you don't know what you're doing, you can tear and jack somebody up for real. If you can find someone who sugars and who can sugar your face, you won't get that hyperpigmentation, but you will start to see the hair grow slower and thinner after the first and second time you get sugared. So that's the one thing with sugaring. Once you sugar, you really don't go back to waxing. But if you've been waxing this long, you may need to go to a different hair removal modality. I'm saying that I wax, I charge people for waxing, but I also know options for people who don't respond. So like I said, if you don't know hair removal, if you don't understand hair removal, if you've not invested in educating yourself about hair removal, it's great you wax, especially if you wax and make a lot of money, but you also have to realize not everyone is going to respond to waxing. That's reality. You are going to come across a client whose hair never changes, it never grows in slower, it stays the same thickness, it stays very coarse. It won't. Anyway, Tiffany, let's go back to this client who had sex after her Brazilian wax and didn't know why she was itching. Now, see, that's one of my rules too. There is no naked wrestling. 2 days, 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that. If you want to, you need to get my ouch bomb. Ouch bomb is also called the sex bomb. You buy the retail, you can put it on yourself and put it on whoever, and then y'all can rub all, do whatever you want. You ain't gonna mess up my work. Hence why I say no underwear after I wax you. You're not gonna mess up my work. You told her that? Did she buy some ouch? Obviously, she ain't bought no ouch bomb. See, and I would have used that as a learning lesson. See, had you bought the ouch bomb, you wouldn't have been itching. So, so sorry, See? I sure would have. I'd have been, oh, well, how's your itching coming? Because had you had some ouch bomb, you wouldn't even been itching right now. You'd have been good. 24, 48, no gym, no sex after. That's right. You can swing from the chandelier after that, honey. Look, ain't no sauna, no swim. No, you're not going swimming. You're not getting no sauna. You're not going no gym. You're not naked wrestling. We're not going to do all that. You messing up my work. Absolutely. But again, a lot of people just don't know. So when I say hair removal 101, no tanning too. Thanks, Tanya. When you know all of these things, you can let your clients know. You should be having that open conversation with them as well. And the thing is with me, yeah, no ocean, no hot tubs. Absolutely not. They are very hard-headed. And I tell a lot of them, you're going to do what you want. I'm advising you not to. You're going to do what you want to do. But just know there is always a consequence for the choices you make, especially when they ain't good. Do you have Brazilian wax posters for sale on your site? No, I don't ever do that, honey, and I'll talk about that. You have people say you've been waxing a long time. No one has ever told me that. You can tune in each Tuesday. What time do I scope? I scope every Tuesday night, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 East Coast. Yeah, I don't do I don't do any posters for my wax because I don't need to. Because here's the thing. Once you tell people what you use, they want to buy it. Trust me, believe me, I have a pile of orders from non-licensed estheticians. I don't need it. So, just use what you use. But, educating your clients is a big thing. It's huge, 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 huge.